she said помогите. It's help, as in a verb, an imperative. You ask many people to help you, right? So that's why помогите. And you see, like, we have O's in this word, but we oftentimes pronounce our O's as A. So for instance, Moscow is not Moskva, right? It's Moskva. It sounds like an A, not like an O most of the time. So it may be a bit confusing because we don't actually write things the exact way they sound.
Кто-нибудь помогите.
Кто-нибудь, помогите. So кто-нибудь is just someone. I actually liked how she pronounced кто-нибудь sounded very natural. A bit more natural than помогите, but it was very understandable. You can still say she's not a native, but it was very good. I think it's even better than in the previous episodes that we watched. Поднимаешься сюда? So like, are you climbing here? I still need to re-listen to it. I didn't get what she said before поднимаешься сюда. So поднимаешь is like you are climbing and сюда is here. So maybe let's like write it like that. Sorry for the typos. I don't actually have Russian letters in my keyboard, so I type from memory. I only have English.
Я тебя люблю.
That sounded sweet, but there was obviously an accent, especially in the word люблю, which I was surprised about because the Japanese language also has a U that sounds very similar to the Russian U, in my opinion, but that sounded more like люблю, you know, like it's like not very natural. люблю, so it's like supposed to be pronounced quicker, and what she said sounded more like I don't know, люблю or than люблю. So that's like, I'm trying to pinpoint the inaccuracies in the accent, right? Like, it's very, very good actually, like it's very understandable, but she obviously has an accent, and my goal is to let you guys know how it really sounds for someone who speaks Russian, who's a native speaker.
Yeah.
Her intonation in the end was also slightly unnatural, but it's okay, it's understandable.
Я тебя люблю.
Also, тебя sounded more like тебя, not тебя. So the way she pronounced it, люблю instead of люблю, and тебя instead of тебя. So я тебя люблю, not я тебя люблю or something. So я тебя люблю. But then again, I'm only saying that because I really want you to know how it sounds, right? But it's very understandable.
Замуж еще рано.
Okay, so she said замуж еще рано, but the way she said замуж sounded like somos. Like, I couldn't understand what she said until I saw the subtitles, until I read them. So when I saw marriage, I was like, oh, okay, замуж. So that's something you can say. Yeah, it's like, it's too early to get married, or like it's too early for me to get married in general. Doesn't matter like who the partner would be. But it sounded like she said somos. Som is like a type of fish. I was like, what?
ラナ。
そうだね、まだ15歳だもんね。じゃあ寄ってくか。
Это не свидание, то?
Oh, that sounded actually pretty good. Like, very, very, like, very close to being natural. Это не свидание. That's not a date.
じゃあ寄ってくか。
The only thing that I would correct if I really had to, but that already sounds very good, is the word date, свидание. So I would say it like a little maybe quicker so that it sounds more natural. But overall, like, I was pleasantly surprised with this one. Sounded like very, very, very good. Like 9.8 out of 10, I would say.
あなたはそういうつもりだったんですか？アーリャさん。ロシアでは関節キスが横行してるのかな？
Я сделала так только для тебя, дурак.
Я сделала так только по... I didn't get it. Дурак. So I only did it some things that I didn't get there because I couldn't get what she said, and then dummy, as in you idiot, дурак. I assume she wanted to say something like for you, but then again, multiple question marks, I don't know.
За что именно?
За что именно? So like, what exactly was it for? In Russian, when we talk, we don't normally use the verb to be, especially in the present tense. So in English, you would say in this situation something, what was it for, right? Was to be. But in Russian, it's like, what for, basically. Not what is it for, what was it for, it's just like, what for? Like, we're very straightforward like that. So, like, what for exactly? That's how you literally translate it, and in English it just sounds broken, in Russian it sounds normal.
Похвали меня еще.
Похвали меня еще. But I only got it because of the subtitles, because it sounded like поговори, but that didn't make any sense, because it would be like, talk to me, поговори со мной еще, or something. But yeah, so the way she said похвали sounded a lot like поговори. So yeah, I really struggle understanding her sometimes, and at other times she sounds completely natural or like very close to being native, so that's confusing. Was it дурак? Let's assume it was дурак, like idiot, like Japanese baka.
Ты просто скот.
So it was even more brutal in Russian than it was in English. So she could have said ты просто животное, but she said ты просто скот, which is even worse. So I think like the you animal is more like ты просто животное, and ты просто скот is like one step further than that. So I think what she said in Russian matches her facial expression quite well.
そしたらもっと友達感覚で付き合える感じの。
То есть такую как я?
То есть такую как я? That's what she said. То есть такую как я? She said такую 2 times, which is kind of unnatural, but maybe she was just thinking out loud, which she was, so that's kind of like gives her some points. Okay, like we can get away with that, but
付き合える感じの。
То есть такую как я?
so you mean someone like me? То есть такую как я? So it would be like more like that.
少しは気を使え。あれが傷つくだろうが。え？
Да ладно.
Да ладно. That sounded nice. It's like whatever, like don't bother. That sounded natural. I like that. 10 out of 10.
Есть друзья. Ничего.
Да ладно, у меня есть друзья, ничего. That's what she said. Okay, so да ладно. It's like whatever. У меня есть друзья. I have friends. I have got friends. Ничего. It's like doesn't matter. Literally, ничего means nothing. But it's in this context, it's like never mind. Doesn't matter. It's fine. But that was good. Understandable and nice.
Это еще что?
Это еще что? Wow, that's like, if I heard that out of context, I think that was the best phrase so far. Это еще что? The intonation was on point, the pronunciation was on point, and the phrase itself was written very naturally. So, like 10 out of 10. Это еще что? So,
あら、そんなの簡単よ。Потому что это ты.
потому что это ты. That's how I would say it. That's because it's you. It was very clear. The intonation was a little off, but overall it's good. It's like a solid 8.2 out of 10.
いや、そいつがアーリャはいいカップくらいだって。
Почти правильно.
Почти sounded nice, but правильно, which is the word for correct, was again a little unnatural, so you could hear the accent. Почти правильно. Not почти правильно.
Что это еще? Намекает.
I didn't get that. Let's re-listen to it. So I did read the subtitles, but it was unclear. So.
どうやって一緒намекает, что я...
Что это еще намекает, что я... I don't get it, I need to re-listen to it. Well, что это еще is not too natural. It's like, okay, but it's... I think there are better ways to say it naturally. Maybe like, ну что еще? Something like that. I think that would be more natural in this context. Let's re-listen because I didn't get the end.
намекает, что я...
Намекает, что я... And then, sorry, I just don't get what she said. Like, I can't hear the correct word, but it sounds more like, I don't know, скрипит, which is like... Which is definitely not what she's saying, and it's like a verb for, like, you know, like when you hear like a door make a sound, like a creaking door or something, I don't know. But it doesn't make sense here, neither grammatically nor contextually, so I have no idea.
ければ私たちもご一緒させていただいても Нет.
Нет. That was okay. Нет. Very natural, I'd say. Sounded kind of soft, I think. If it was me, I would probably say it a little more, like, strongly, like, нет.
アリア、ユキがそう言ってるけど、どうだ？
いいんじゃないかしら断る理由もないわ
そうか。
ありがとうございます Но мы вдвоем хорошо
Да, мы вдвоем хорошо. I love the phrase. So the phrase itself, the way it's written in the script, is very natural. Нам и вдвоем хорошо. The way she said it, there was some accent, but it was understandable.
Нельзя?
Нельзя? Well, it sounded kind of disconnected, you know? So instead of нельзя, she said like нельзя. The intonation kind of does give it away.
何の音по имени
え、
По имени. So like when you call someone by name, that's what по имени means. По имени.
ヒントよ
いや、ロシア語で言われても。
知ってるわデートそうね Впервые И
Впервые. That sounds good. Like not perfect, but впервые means for the first time.
Я собрала
She said я соврала, but I heard собрала, which is like not I lied, but I collected. Я собрала. That's what I heard, but she said я соврала, so like that's one letter that's different. Again, from the context you understand it, but if I heard it out of context, I wouldn't get it.
濡れ衣だったわ。
Дай пахнет здесь как-то парнем Дай пахнет здесь как-то парнем
That sounded so bad, sorry, it was so unclear. I will just write down how it sounded to me. I know it's not what she actually meant to say, but... So, she was probably supposed to say it smells like a guy in here or something. But instead of saying, I assume, да и пахнет, I heard дай пахнет. Which, like, this isn't even a word. This is give, like give something to me, дай. And нет, you probably know it, it's a no. But пав, like, it's not a word. So, tries to speak Russian as if it were Japanese, which makes sense because Japanese is her native language. But sometimes it's very unclear. And sometimes she just pronounces it brilliantly, like incredibly well. So it's really arranged, that's why it's interesting for me to watch it.
ちょっと自分でもワクワクしてる。
Такое лицо тоже
It's supposed to be neutral, оно лицо. So такое would be the correct one, but she sounded like такой, and it's just grammatically wrong, but it's fine, it's just the accent.
Милая.
Mila, it's like cute.
だよな。
Разрешите представиться.
Разрешите представиться, so like allow me to introduce myself.
Казначей ученического совета Куджо Алиса.
I haven't heard the word казначей in ages. It sounds very old-fashioned. I mean, of course I can say it, but nowadays Russian uses a lot of like American English words just pronounced in a Russian way. So basically it's just like student council treasurer, or like that's how weird it sounds, but it's like the person who is in charge of the finance of the student council, apparently.
Я собираюсь выставить свою кандидатуру.
Я собираюсь выставить свою кандидатуру. So like, я собираюсь выставить свою кандидатуру.
Казначей ученического совета Куджо Алиса. Я собираюсь выставить свою кандидатуру на выборах председателя школьного совета в будущем году. Я пришла в эту школу в прошлом году.
Я пришла в эту школу в прошлом году. I think it does sound slightly unnatural, like I came to the school last year. Like, come on, Alya, you come to the school, like you go to the school every day. That sounds kind of like maybe I transferred to that school, right? Like я перевелась в эту школу or something. Or я поступила, so like I got admitted, I got enrolled. So я пришла sounds a little weird to me.
И у меня пока нет достижений.
И у меня пока нет достижений. So I don't have any achievements yet.
Которыми я могла бы похвастаться.
Которыми я могла бы похвастаться. So I don't have like any achievements that I could boast about, something that I could show off, you know, like that's the vibe.
Я также пока не могу сказать, что полностью поняла принцип.
Я также пока не могу сказать, что полностью поняла, so I also still cannot say that I've fully understood, and then let's keep listening.
Что полностью поняла в принципе работы члена школьного совета.
So the principles of how the student council works, but the way she pronounced принципы sounded a little like в принципе. And if I were to translate в принципе, I would just say in principle or basically, as a matter of principle. It even sounded like в принципе работает ли. It sounded like she said I understood what there are like student council even works. So maybe it's a good thing that she said it in Russian and not in Japanese. That would have been a bit awkward.
すいません。緊張のあまりロシア語が出てしまいました。ちょっと適当に言ってみただけよ。Как же так? Я не сомневалась, что...
Как же так? The way she said как же так also sounded like вообще-то. I don't know. Как же так? Я не сомневалась, что... So, how can it be? How is it possible? I didn't doubt it, that, and dot.
まさちかくんНе падай духом.
Не падай духом. The way she said не падай духом sounded more like не падай духом, which is not a bad thing, just wanted to point it out.
喜んで
Let's see what we have gathered so far. So, her Russian is mostly understandable, especially if she says shorter sentences. Sometimes she does slip into the Japanese pattern of speaking, pronouncing the consonants a bit too hard, maybe because people have this impression that Russian is like a very harsh language, but it's really not. So it does sound like she tries too hard sometimes, and sometimes she sounds very, very natural. So it never sounded to me that it was easier for her to speak Russian than Japanese. So it always felt like her Russian was pitched higher than Japanese, which is also unrealistic. Like we normally speak lower compared to Japanese. There's even like a chart. Here we are supposed to be able to see the peak frequency by language. So Japanese is pretty high, and I'm going to keep my cursor here and just move towards Russian. Here, see, Russian is lower on average, and let's compare it to English as well. And I just found English, so let's move it. So English is even lower. So English is lower than it's Russian and then it's Japanese, apparently. It is one thing that bothered me a lot because she's supposed to sound natural in Russian, but she sounds like a baby. But if you don't understand Russian, you can definitely enjoy the show. And I think she did a great job imitating how Russian sounds like to people who don't speak Russian. Russian speakers, I think we're just happy that anyone at all speaks Russian for fun, especially in an anime, because I believe that many young people who speak Russian are very into anime. Many people want to move to Asia, to Japan specifically. So I think seeing your language represented somewhere is nice. And we don't get to experience it that often. So I'm pretty sure most people are just happy about it, no matter how unnatural it sounds at times. Of course, as someone who tries to teach you the most natural Russian, I had to be like very critical of her Russian, but overall, actually, I think it's quite good. I think I'd say like 7.7 out of 10. That's how I would rate it. It's obvious she tried hard and it ended up sounding cute, but overall, like, I think if there were some people who speak Russian who could give her some directions, it could have easily turned into a 9 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. I hope it was interesting and see you next time.